All right. So picking the best take is a lot of what timeline editing is, because in our workflow, and anyone who's edited for us, or like anywhere ever probably, knows that you have like maybe 3 or 4 different takes for one scene, sometimes a lot more. There were some second time things I had like 8 or 9 takes for. So it's a lot of watching them all, which takes a long time, and then picking them. And there's a couple factors. These are just 3 of them. There are a lot more, you know, I'm sure. But these are the main ones, is, you know, actor performance, camera stability, and then continuity. And actor performance, something that kind of like the director will kind of give you notes on maybe of what exactly they want. You can send them a couple different takes, be like, which one of these is the best. You can figure out like camera stability, I mean, like, you know, oh, someone bumped a camera. Probably don't want to use that take for that period, you know, or oh, the camera's all over the place, or oh, it's way out of focus. Don't want that. And then continuity, I'm going to get a lot in continuity here. And with these two, the outer ones, actor performance and continuity, because I'm talking about take and angle here, because we use a multicam system for the most part, so we have not only different takes to pick, but different angles. And camera stability can sometimes be fixed by just switching which angle you're on for that scene. All right, next for me.
You have to take back the take, correct? That's you're trying to say from the start.
Yes, that's what the asterisk means. That's yes. Those affect just take. Angle can be fixed with camera stability sometimes. But actor performance and continuity really can't be fixed with just different angles. Usually you have to pick a different take. Editing's a lot of compromise in picking things. Continuity. Yep. So we're gonna. It's got its own section. Continuity. So we're gonna look at a bunch of screenshots from second time. This is gonna be real fun. So this is from the same take. This is a multicam split of the same. I think it's actually 1 frame off of the same take here. And you can see we've got Ben and Matt sitting on the bench. And this was with the L lens. That's with the cine lens. So you can see I labeled which lens each one was. This is your ideal setup. This is same take, just different angles. You can cut from this to this without worrying about continuity. And by continuity, I mean like, oh, their head's in a different place, or, you know, their mouth's moving in one, and all of a sudden it's not. Their mouth is open and then closed. You know, their hand's in a weird place. All sorts of things. You can see here, everything we see in this shot is exactly the same as in this shot. You can see Ben's hair is in the exact same place. Matt's facing the same way. All of it. It's beautiful. This is a great cut because it looks like it's still one take. The whole thing about timeline editing is trying to make everything look like it was done in one take. Yes, Jonathan.
Did you have multiple cameras for this shot?
Yes, we were using 2 cameras. So these are from the exact same point in actual time. So that's why we were able to get, this is your ideal setup. You're not going to work with this a lot. And the other ones I'm going to show you won't be from this. This is the only one that's from the same take. So when you're working with multicam from the same take, you can cut all over the place if you want to, because you're not going to have to worry about continuity. But next, we have different takes here. So this is one solution. A lot of these have to be implemented on set, but as an editor on set, it can be very helpful to know what we're going for here. So this is an over-the-shoulder kind of style shoot. And this one's not exactly over the shoulder. It's a little bit off at an angle, but this is definitely over the shoulder because we're shooting Matt over Melanie's shoulder. And what this does, this is great at hiding continuity errors, because you can see from here, we actually can't see Melanie's face in Matt's shot, and we can't see Matt's face in Melanie's shot either. So we can cut between these all we want to. These are from different takes. You can see we're using the same lens. So this was 2 separate times. Very different takes. But you can see that, hey, I can cut from here to here with no problem, because as far as I know, as long as Melanie's not like turned her head some weird way, you know, this is going to be a good continuity take. This is going to be a good continuity cut. You're going to be able to go from here to here, and nobody's going to question, oh, things jumped. You don't want things to jump between takes. Next, we have another fun one. So we did a few car scenes in second time, too. This is another way to hide them. So you can see we have an angle from in front of them in the car, and then an angle in the back of the car facing front. And that way we can hide things, too, because most of the time they're facing forward. In that frame, Matt's off to the side a little bit. Most of the time they're facing forward in both things. So I can use that if I need to make cuts in this shot. I can just jump back to that and then jump back here and grab parts from a different take, because we can't actually see their faces. Yeah, and so those are from different takes as well. Next.
Did you place the camera on the dashboard?
Yeah, well, for this, we actually had it on a suction mount on the windshield. We actually had it like right here-ish, farther over there. Okay. But we had it suctioned upside down on the windshield, and that's the only way we get a wide enough shot. We had to get real creative with the car shots. But yeah, we had that one there. And then the back one, we had suction cup to the back windshield.
Why was it upside down?
That's a great question. It was upside down. I'm trying to remember why. It like wouldn't hold right set up very well. Like it suspended better than it would hold itself up, because we had it on the suction. So like it was mounted from the tripod screw. So we had, do I have the camera still? I do. So we had it like mounted. It wasn't this camera, it was that camera. But we had it mounted this way so it hung better. And then I had to run it through a few stabilizers because it was a little bit shaky. But so that's another good way to hide the faces. The main thing you'll find with continuity is people's faces are different, or their heads are turned. All right, next, now we're going to get into things where you can't hide their faces very well. This is very tricky to deal with. These are like head-on shots. Like here we have our 2 actresses sitting on the same side of a table. And these are the 3 angles we have here. We're only shooting with 2 cameras. So what we do, and this is going to be helpful as an editor to know, what we usually do on set with 2 cameras is we'll shoot this scene, or this angle, and then we'll shoot this angle and this angle. So we should have twice as many of these as the other ones. Because what we want to do is we want to be able to match these up with one of these. So we want to be able to cut back and forth easily. So there's a couple ways to work around this. It's very tricky. And next slide, there's another example of this too. There's a more familiar example probably. The 3MA benches scenes from like every second time episode ever are like this too, where no matter how you cut from this to this, you have to see the actor's face that you're cutting to. There's no over-the-shoulder thing you can hide it with. You know, there's no front-to-back stuff. We did everything where we could see the front of their face continuously. So next slide shows you how to fix this. So here's how you fix it. So assume we took 2 takes, 1 and 2, and we have close 1, wide 1, and close 2, wide 2. So here's what I usually do to fix this. And sometimes it works out where you can cut from one take to the other, and it's fine. Continuity works out. But most of the time, what you'll do is you'll basically use these you'll cut from close shot to close shot to hide. Because between these 2 shots, we don't know that there's no continuity. We can't see the other actor in these. So, you know, I'll go from close 1 to wide 1, back to close 1, then I'll go to close 2, then wide 2. Then I can cut to close 2 again, then wide 1. So if you want to get to one of these, the key is if you're trying to get from like to wide 1 or wide 2, you kind of have to go through the close shots. That way there's no big jumps. And like I said, sometimes you can go from close 2 to wide 1 and like there's no problem. But like Melanie is really good at like holding her face the same in every take. She's perfect. She's fantastic. If you're watching this, Melanie, thank you. You're fantastic. She's probably not, but if she is. So she's really good. Some people are not as good. Matt's not as good. Sorry, Matt. He's not as good at keeping his head in he does like a lot of different things. And some actors will do that. They'll do different expressions or different ways of doing it every time. Melanie kind of commits early on, and that's fine. You know, it's really good from an editor's perspective. Sometimes the director will try to change things. But you know, from an editing perspective, you want Melanie, and Ben Schwaller is also really good at doing this too. He's very consistent. Matt's all over the place all the time. He's really fun to edit for because it's a real big challenge. So that's a lot of fun to deal with. But you know, Melanie's really easy to work with. So like Melanie often has, I can cut from her close angle to a different wide angle, and she has the same expression.